One more day to end this week, and I'm excited to come your way with Joy News Interactive today. Let's start today's edition with a raging issue, and that's the mandatory towing levy. I'm sure you remember Parliament has okayed it now. Well, not everyone is happy with the decision, and the Progressive People's Party is one organization that is not. The party on Wednesday released a statement asking Ghanaians to resist the levy. The statement, signed by its national secretary, that's the PPP's national secretary, Murtala Mohammed, said Ghanaians must object to this lackadaisical attitude towards solving problems in this country. The statement also said the penchant of successive governments to opt for easier methods of solving problems in this country must not be countenanced. And what do you make of this stance by the party? Let's see what some of you have been saying. Emmanuel Kojo Ashe says, I think it shouldn't be mandatory. A unit towing must be set by government to deal with such issues, so you can run to them whenever you need them. But however, enforce the law by not neglecting vehicles that need to be towed. Okay, which will force drivers to run to either the private towing companies or the one government will set up. Khalil Maestro says, I am very happy genuine citizens are against, and he says, not so smart toll levy. Those MPs pushing for the toll levy have already okay, that's quite, we cannot substantiate those claims, so we would pass over that comment. David Law Sanchez says Ghana is okay, well, wait for that to settle. He says Ghana is somehow sick. We've been complaining about accidents occurring as a result of spoiled and stationed cars on our roads. When we are asked to pay tax for towing those cars from the road, it's now a debate to pay or not to pay. And he says he pities Ghana. Now, the issue really is that a lot of people believe, yes, we have to find a way to solve the problem, but really a mandatory towing levy is not the way to go. Others have, you know, suggested other options, for example, allowing your insurance cater for that, so it doesn't have to directly come from another form of tax scheme. And so when you go and pay your insurer, then you know, it's all inclusive. In case you have an accident, the insurance company caters for it. There have been a lot of suggestions. So really, he thinks that, look, once there's a problem, we need a solution. Let's just deal with it. Well, on this same issue, the Ghana Committed Drivers Association, GCDA, has served notice of a nationwide demonstration to push for the repeal of the recently passed mandatory towing levy. Now, the association says it's not in favor of the levy and wants the government to halt its implementation. A press release dated August 3, 2017 and signed by the association's chairman, Charles Danso, did not give a date for the start of the nationwide protest, but it called on members to support the agitation. And some of you have been commenting on that as well. Frank TV says, democracy is not working in Ghana at all. How can we sit for these stomach direction politicians to make such laws for us? Politicians have no place in heaven, that's what he thinks. They are not affected by this, and he uses the popular phrase, I just can't think far. Let's move on to Desmond. Desmond says he sides with them 100%. That is the GCDA. And he says, why should it be compulsory? It should be paid by those drivers and car owners whose cars and trucks break down on our roads. There should be a point in each constituency or a vantage point that can help in towing. Then you pay for the service. And he thinks, look, this is so simple. Young Soldier Skater says, please help them seek for change and with the hope for the government to deliver the million promises. He already said, Sika no woho. I'm sure that's what you mean to write. So bring it out, and we support free education for your kids. I'm sure he's referring to President Akufo-Addo there. Johnny John T says, when you drive on our roads at night, then you will know what actually causes most of the accidents. He says the streets are very dark with no proper street lights and reflectors. These politicians want to dig deep into this, but some useless so-called levy that will just enrich people's lives. Why do our leaders behave like this? He asks. just taking us for a ride, and you can sense the frustration in his comment over there. Michael Obete says the implementation of the levy shouldn't be rushed. And that's what one expert thinks, transport expert Cecil Gabra. He thinks, you know, but this whole thing, we should give it some, you know, time, just a little patience. And Michael adds that I think government and all relevant stakeholders better sit up and discuss the mutual benefits of the move to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Emmanuel Adragbe Edem says, thought they are the ones going to pay at the end, so they have no choice. They have a choice to add, but a voice, I beg your pardon, to add. But one thing we should consider is the safety on our roads. Most of these accidents are caused by vehicles parked on the streets, so government has to look at the way policies of this kind are formulated. Francis Yawasai Bediako says, that is to say, we won't pay. Some people are ready to suck this levy like vampires and enrich themselves. It won't work for its purpose. He adds again, that's to say, we won't pay. Fefe Francis says, what are they suggesting for government for a smooth takeoff? I think increasing the NHIL levy on electricity purchase to 100%. In that case, all individuals are involved with the support. Okay, Fefe. You are also suggesting another tax scheme that will help the program. But Kojo Fodra says, Ghana, dear, oh no. Kojo sounds like he's given up already. And he says the government should implement it to reduce the number of accidents on our roads. So Kojo is one of those people who believes, you know what, it's enough of the argument. Let's just get it done and over with. Let the government implement this. Let's pay and save lives. He thinks we are arguing too much about this. If your Mankwa Okai says, oh, okay, it's actually a birthday wish, okay. Maybe we can sneak this in. Mr. Edward Okai Sr., happy birthday from your wife. And Kusi Obwadum Daniel says, I wonder why people think about their health, but don't think about the things that hold their life. I'm done. That's his end. That's the end of his argument there. Baiten Nwabate says, they should have been educated, or there should have been education, you mean, before passing this law. So we hope to see what comes out of all the debate we are having on social media, on radio, on TV, and we'll be bringing you updates, so you want to stick and stay with the Joy News channel. But to our next issue, the Minister for Business Development, Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, has urged the media to support the government's plans to brand Ghana as a ready market and place open for business. He noted that the president had communicated the desire to make Ghana the most business-friendly nation in Africa. And so the media should take that as a brand and promote Ghana as being ready and open for business. Now, some people have over the years blamed the media for not selling Ghana. So today we are asking, has the media failed in that regard? I mean, in your opinion. Kobe Joe says, Ghana has the most beautiful beaches, rainforest reserves, the biggest man-made lake in the world. Ask yourself, when was the last time you saw such beauty on TV? Even Dubai, after being a tourist site in the world, still do advertisement. Our media is here only to portray bad things, okay, because of politics, failed nation. But Kobe, you talk about, interestingly, you talk about advertisement. And you know advertisement is paid for. So there's got to be somebody who will put together probably that advert and pay for it. And you also talk about the fact that Ghana has the most beautiful beaches. I'm not sure about that, but the biggest man-made lake, yes, we do have it. Emmanuel Edem says, I believe the media has done its best in projecting Ghana's progress, but one problem I personally have with the media is their inability to bring on board professionals to discuss issues bothering the nation, rather than the same politicians who will always defend their actions, whether good or bad. I believe the experts are the ones who can tell us the real facts on the ground. Emmanuel, I hope you watched Joy News Desk today. That was you know, the program before I came on, and we had experts discussing some issues right here on this channel. So yeah, we do that. Jama Tutu for Dia says yes, the media has failed big time. Instead of the telenovelas, please market Ghana for us. Ghana is more important than the telenovelas. And Dennis Ampere says, not a complete failure, but you can do better. Our media today seem to hype and promote the negative things that happen in the country than the positive images we need to sell to the rest of the world. Crazy Anani says, okay, he thinks that the business development ministry is not so useful. And Darlington Selassie Kumako says, Ghana is like Kenya, where tourists do often visit like other countries that have gold, etc. Mark Mason says, I never met an investor who based their interest solely on marketing. That's an interesting one. Sapon Boahene NS says, what's the correspondence? Okay, he's talking about that image. Komla Zono says, Minister for what? My tax money is going to waste indeed. Let's talk some football now, away from, you know, business development and all that. So it's become a reality. The N in Barcelona's MSN. Neymar is on his way to Paris Saint-Germain. Whoever thought this day will come? Anyway, our question is simple. Will his absence affect Barcelona? Let's speak to Joy Sports' Benedict Owusu on this. He joins us via Skype. Hello, Benedict.
Hi, Benedict.
Well, so you know I'm not a Barcelona fan, but hey, I love good football. So it's going to affect our Spanish La Liga in some way. But we now know that Neymar is leaving Barcelona for PSG. Would this in any way affect Barcelona?
Well, on a personal view, I don't think so. I don't think this will affect Barcelona in any way, because if you look at Neymar since he came into the team, his contribution as well as that of Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez, clearly you will say that Neymar has not been the best in terms of the three, because you know we call them the MSN. That's Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. And if you're putting together the statistics of these three, Neymar has not been able to prove himself at Barcelona. But with the player and the caliber of player he is, obviously one day we'll think that Neymar will come in and step in the shoes of Lionel Messi. You know, Barcelona has this tree of where normally they have one player who's always the top player when he leaves. I mean, not to go to maybe probably in the last 10 or 15 years. In the last 6 or so years, but before Messi came in, we had Ronaldinho, and Messi came, and Messi has been doing everything. So for most Barcelona fans, they actually would have loved to see Neymar stay. So probably if Messi is leaving the scene, Neymar will then become the next man that they will all look up to. But that's not going to happen. But if you look at the current situation, with Neymar leaving for Paris Saint-Germain, I don't think that will affect Barcelona in any way, because Lionel Messi is still Lionel Messi. He's playing very well. He's still young, 29 years, and still has more years ahead of him to play. So it won't affect the team in any way.
Interesting, Benedict. But do we know how his new team would work with his entrance?
One thing we should know is he has not signed for Paris Saint-Germain yet.
Okay.
But it's obvious and it's clear that that's where he's going to go. But you know, I mean, in the past years, we've learned something about the transfer window where one player is linked to a particular club, start talking, and at the end he ends up at another club. But in the Neymar situation, since day one, we've known that it's Paris Saint-Germain in France that want to, you know, buy him. But we should also know very well that he has not signed yet, and that they must pay his buyout clause, which is 222 million euros before you know, they can also go ahead and complete the deal with the player. Barcelona have stated clearly yesterday, they released a statement that they wouldn't want anything away from the release clause. That's the 222 million. So if they pay that, which is equivalent to 198 million pounds, then they'll have the chance to sign the player. Without that, Neymar is still a Barcelona player, but he has already told them that he wants to leave. And as we all know, it's Paris Saint-Germain that want to buy him, but he's not yet a Paris Saint-Germain player.
All right, Benedict, before you leave, a lot of people are wondering what could have caused a move by Neymar? Could it be the tax issues? Is it that they have scores to settle in the team? Do we know why he's leaving at all? That's the big question everyone is asking.
Well, you started by mentioning probably what could have triggered this move. If you remember very well, somewhere in March, Barcelona achieved one of the most remarkable comebacks in Champions League history. If you remember that game they played against this same team that we are talking about, Neymar joined, that's Paris Saint-Germain. In the final 7 minutes, Barca secured a sensational 6-5 aggregate win. And in that game, it was Neymar that mastered everything. Without any doubt, Neymar capped brilliant performance. He scored 2 goals and also assisted 1 goal, which eventually became the winning goal. And you know what? The following day, a publication of a dramatic image went viral where Lionel Messi was in a Messi-like or Messiah-like pose, stand on an advertising board to celebrate the victory. And probably if you are Neymar or if you are any sane human being and you do something like that and the following morning you wake up and you see maybe your colleagues are being healed and you are not being healed, probably that could be the reason. People have said that he feels he's still under the shadows of Lionel Messi. No matter what he does, at this point, Messi will still be Messi and Messi will receive all the plaudits. So why don't you move on to a different club? Brazilians have this thing about always trying to win the Ballon d'Or, but they believe that if you're going to stay at Barcelona where there's Lionel Messi year in, year out, he's playing very well and scoring more than you, there's no way you win ahead of him. So move out, get a different club where you also be seen as the Messi of that club. And if you're able to do something better, probably maybe you emerge as their top scorer and you help them win some laurels, that can help you win the Ballon d'Or as well. So it's a factor of probably maybe he feels that he's living under the shadow of Messi. And I tell you, the money is also good because £777,000 a week. Dennis, I'm sure you not reject that money. If let's say a TV station somewhere comes.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Benedict Owusu, for the information. Obviously, you are the sports guy and you have the facts. So hopefully we see how things pan out for Neymar. But let me just share a few of your comments here about this issue. And Desmond Okle says, Neymar is good and he's talented. However, there are a lot of players who are much better than him. So the coach should look for someone who can be at the same level with him so it won't be a problem. He leaving will not affect the best team on this planet. Besides Ronaldinho, Xavi, Puyol and the likes left. But still, Barca is Barca. Michael Opete says, I'm not a Barca fan, but I don't think Neymar's absence would affect Barca. The team was in place before he joined them, and his time with them didn't make any difference. No. Amina Zakari says, we will miss him. Or says his absence will not affect Barca in any way. We have the men. Barca will still remain Barca whether Neymar leaves or stays. You're watching Joy News Interactive. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll be showing you our picture of the day. Thank you so much for staying here on Joy News Interactive. As I said, I'm going to show you a picture of the day, and there it is. Now, it's actually what we call in local parlance a toli or a joke or something of the sort. So the teacher says, who's your favorite celebrity? And the student says, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the teacher says, spell his name. The student laughs and says, I'm lying, it's EL. Okay, so student tried to be smart over there. Desmond Okle laughs and says, smartness on the part of the student. Crazy Anani says, running away from the spelling. Raphael Aram says, smart guy. Issa Ahmed thinks he's a hardcore student. Atobra Mills Mensa Brampa says, this is a sign of a good student. Okay, Frank Potivi says, I love Enter Joy News Studio. Okay, I'm waiting to see you, Frank. And Janatu Fidals laughs out loud. Well, that will be all for this edition of Joy News Interactive. I really appreciate your time here with me. Don't forget, we are still interactive on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV. My name is Venice Abubedu. I'll be back at 12 with news updates. Take care.